Majority of these incidents happened, were going out of town. And my understanding was because other taxi companies from here pick up fare going, say like going to Rosemead or Toronto Airport. That you can do without having to have a valid cab license for Cobra. Because everybody else is doing it here, and you know it. Other cab companies have. See, the vehicles that I am concerned you're making those points out are used only for out-of-town services. Those two vehicles.
So just to bring an objection, that it's for questions to me, not to submit evidence. I think he has the opportunity to submit evidence after, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Just to follow up on that, if I can, that there's only one exemption actually in the taxi cab bylaw, and that's section 4.1, which says this bylaw does not apply to and excludes the necessity for licenses for taxi cabs originating outside of the town of Coburg when delivering passengers to areas within the town. That's actually the only exemption the town of Coburg doesn't speak to non.
Have A1 Taxi was given any incident from 17, 18, 19, the last 3 years?
Sorry, I'm not sure the question, I apologize.
No, I'm just saying because we have no incident from 17 when I took over, 18 and 19 until the end of December, when that's when the witch hunt started from you. You know, this is what my understanding is, and I will come to the point why it happened.
So is your question, was there any incidents
I'm running the same
prior to these?
Prior to December last year.
Okay. Mr. Larmer, would you be able to answer that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the attorney, to the appellant. The evidence I submitted today is the evidence I'm submitting as part of this revocation.
So was there any incident, any any suspension before that? There wasn't.
So to answer the question, there was no suspension since
right.
the informal suspension, the threat of suspension on November, I believe, 3rd, 2019. Correct.
It's from December.
The full suspension was December 4th.
Basically for the last 3-4 months. Whole thing happened, correct? Nothing happened prior to that.
So I don't have submitted any evidence to this hearing, anything prior to that. I've submitted evidence
I can tell you that there was nothing, no incident happened.
So if I can finish.
Yeah.
So evidence which you heard today was from May, which was a threat of suspension, which I presented as evidence.
Okay.
The full suspension, which lasted 7 days, which was in December.
Was it suspended for one car or for the whole cab?
For the full taxi cab, and it's in the formal notice which you received today for the whole owner licenses. The third incident was in February 20 with, I have the full revocation and the reason why we are here today. And I'm not submitting any more evidence of what is included in today.
Was that suspended in May? Cab license, all the cab licenses were suspended in May?
No, like I said, it was an informal submission for compliance, which you met.
That's right, thank you.
Are there any other questions for the clerk at this time?
I will have a lot of questions, but it probably I'll do it later on.
Okay. At this time, are there any?
She was one incident, which we have pleaded, explained the situation to the clerk. Other than that, most of the incident happened. The vehicles were licensed, fully insured. Even the constable OPP, she did come to my, because every vehicle has a photocopy of insurance and registration in the vehicles. For some reason, this William Jarvis had an accident on the highway. It was very, very bad day. That's no doubt. I'm sure everybody can remember that. And the constable came right running to my office and says, well, you don't have insurance. I said, I do. And I produced the insurance, I gave her the contact numbers. While I was in the office, she confirmed, she called intact, it was clarified. There was no vehicle running without insurance. This driver, he's been driving taxi for 40 years. That was the first time he ever had an accident. What I do believe, and I had a couple of employees who worked for me for many years, and they were let go in December. It was such a coincidence that's when the trouble started. And if you can permit, I can ask the question to clerk that if you've known those individuals personally or any other way. If it's permitted by, I can ask the question first of all before I go any further.
Mr. Lerner, is he able to ask you a question in regards to that?
So, I don't know anyone personally that is licensed in the taxi cab bylaws. I accept all applications, identification information as provided under the authority of the bylaw, and submit to me, so criminal record checks, vulnerable sector checks, valid G license, pardon or criminal conviction, Ontario Administrative Driver's License abstract, a written test, as well as the application fee, as provided for me under the bylaw.
Now, do you know Brandy Martin?
As the clerk said, he doesn't know
That's
the individuals in question.
I'm just curious, because I've been running that thing, I'm running I run the same cab company in Winnipeg, I run the same company in Toronto, similar situation. Why it just happened from December? That was my biggest question here. It's like a witch hunt. And they were given a lot of false information too, but it came back to me. Some part of it is correct, but it wasn't justified to revoke all the licenses. This town needed service, we're trying to do it. We did few occasions when we got backed up, then there's a whole lot of people are calling, 2 hours wait, and I leave it to the dispatcher discretion. Sometimes they do send a cab which is supposed to only go out of town, which is not registered in Coburg. And my understanding was everybody in this town, there's other cab companies, for example, Van Airs, they have only 1 or 2 licenses, but they're running 5 cars. 3 of them have no licenses, but they're only used for out of town. They go out of town. Most of my customers, when I've been witch hunted by clerk, is going out of town. That accident happened, we were picking up on Via Rail going to out of town.
I would ask if you have proof of this, then I would say that you present that to the council as a separate issue.
The proof is the accident happened with Cali, also Cali. It was going out of town. If you go through the other ones, exception of 1 or 2 calls, everybody was going out of town, either Port Hope or Baltimore. And that's when we did that. That's my dispatcher been told, anybody out of town, if the worst comes, you can use that service, use that vehicle. But in local, in town, we will provide a service with the vehicle, with the proper licenses, proper insurances on it. And that's what we were doing. It really, I just feel that the way it is, it's been witch hunted by the clerk here. The reason I said that was earlier because I've been running the same company for the last 3 years. We have not a single incident. Why suddenly, if there was an issue, suspend the license. You don't shut down the company. For me, it's not even worth it, telling the truth. Whether it's, I get the license back or don't get them back. Because the business has been destroyed. Clerk tried to do that in December. He shut me down. We tried to use 1 or 2 vehicles just to keep our regular accounts. And there is nobody servicing midnight, after midnight, and even now in this town. We were the only people doing 24/7, we were losing money. All the hospital, all the corporate accounts, where they want to go out at 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 in the morning. But I do feel very strongly that I've been witch hunted by Mr. Almer.
At this point, do you have any other evidence that would show your case or the side of your story, other than believing that Mr. Larmers has a witch hunt?
Well, the only other, like I said, that one is a prime example. The one was accident happened on 401. And the other one, I'm pretty sure that it was going out town, but there is no guarantee. Sometimes people do say, oh, they pick up a wrong fare from Walmart. My driver goes there, says, you know, we have a call, somebody from Walmart going to Baltimore or Porto. When you get out front, somebody else jumps in. You know, I told her, don't take anybody out. If somebody doesn't pay, don't chase them. Let it go. These are the policies we have introduced in our A1 taxi. But if that's Mr. Lama wants, I mean, you know, I would be happy to wrap it up and leave. But I strongly believe the town needs a few more taxis here. And town should work in cooperation with small taxi businesses. I mean, Port Hope Taxi gave up, and they were doing fairly well. Why would they give up? There's not tons of money to be made in this business. So it's not that the reason. We were trying to provide a good service and a faster service, which town was really looking for, because it is unacceptable. I run 3 other cab companies even today. If we tell them it's a 30 minutes wait, they laugh at me. And this is the only town you tell it'd be an hour wait. Sometimes it's an hour and a half wait. Instead of working with the cab company, don't witch hunt them. You know, don't put them out of business. That's the only thing.
So at this time, we're not gonna talk about any more of, yes, we need more taxis and all that. We're
No.
looking at
The
the appeal at hand. So if you can finish up and then members.
I'm just going to make it very short. I don't want to waste
Okay.
council's time either. If that incident happened, why wasn't just the license suspended, not all the licenses? What the others, the vehicle were not involved in those incident. The vehicle were involved in that incident were not registered anywhere, for example. Why don't you suspend those or get the OPP or the police? I mean, Mr. Lama asked the police force to chase every cab, check every driver's license. Why? It's never happened before.
Come on.
Give you information and,
Call it.
that's a
You can
personal
call it.
relationship with that,
You
too.
can call it.
Yeah, because you have a personal relationship with someone who's feeding you information and you have her spying in on the company. She's told me this
That's
herself.
okay. No, that's
So, I mean-
that's irrelevant.
Okay,
Not
no,
irrelevant.
that's enough.
No, but it's the truth.
So do you have any more evidence, hard evidence, like Mr. Larmer has given us, to present to us?
No. I just have that this is, you know, it's a witch hunt and I have ours.
Okay, I'll ask if any members of councils have a question at this point. Mr. or Councilor Darling?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name. As the owner of
Last name
A1,
Gill.
okay, thank you. As the owner of A1, are you aware of all your requirements under the current bylaw?
Yes, sir.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you've stated that you pick fares up in Coburg
Right.
and take them out of town.
Correct.
And from my understanding of what you said, you don't need a license to do that.
That is correct.
But Mr. Larner is saying in the bylaw that if you
It's a very gray area. It's not probably black and white. And also,
But the bylaw does state if you pick up a fare
Okay.
in Coburg, you must have a taxi license.
the other 4 companies doing exactly the same, no difference.
The other four, sorry,
I'm not
the
just
other
saying
four
that.
companies
It's
are
the bylaw,
sitting in
it's
front
a-
of us.
Mr. Gill, just let the councilor finish his question and then you
Yeah,
can
we-
answer.
Go ahead.
I'm not allowed to address those other situations if
No, that's
if
fine.
they do exist. We are here on this. Do you have a copy, an up-to-date copy of the current bylaw in your possession?
Yes, I have it on the office, yes. I want my email.
You do have one in the office? Okay, thank you.